Hello, guys. So, as some of you may know, America isn't doing too swell right now, and that's where this topic came about. 7 reasons Americans love life in Poland. Living life in Poland versus USA. Now, it's freaking hard here, guys. I get the wanting to move and have a better, easier life. I want that. But this video is called 7 Reasons Americans Love Life in Poland. And down here it says a lot of videos by Americans on why they're living in Poland focus on the surprising way they found themselves adjusting to life in Poland. So I figured I'd throw my hand in on some thoughts on living in Poland versus USA. Provide you with 7 reasons. Let's check them out. I'm excited.
Dzień dobry, cześć. And in today's video, we're going to provide you with 7 reasons Americans love life in Poland. And the way that we'll do this is we'll show you visuals from different walking tours that I've done in this lovely country and talk a little bit about why people from the United States.
That picture right there. I would love a painting like that. That is beautiful. Beautiful.
Would come to Poland and decide to live here. Now, many videos that you see about life in Poland as an American often tell this story of someone who maybe came to teach English and unexpectedly fell in love with the country, or somebody who has Polish roots. But my story is quite different. I have been coming to Poland for about 10 years now. I have no background connected to, as far as my ancestors, to Poland.
That is beautiful. Has like a little bridge thing over here. Oh my gosh. Which connects to this next building, it looks like. What is that? Let me know down in the comments, guys, if you know what this is. I know one of y'all does, but that is absolutely, I love it.
But it is a country that has truly taken my heart, and I have no plans on leaving if you'll have me. So, without further ado, here are 7 reasons why Americans love life in Poland. Number 1 is safety. Now, I can remember when I was discussing the differences between life in Poland and America, and I was talking to my girlfriend about how many Americans understandably see life there as very dangerous. Now, the obvious assumption is that that is limited only to weaponry, we'll call it, because we don't want this video to get flagged. But life in America, even walking down the street, can feel very intense, and you need to use a lot of your attention in order to focus on getting through your day if you're not in a car driving around, which we'll cover in a later step. Just to put a fine point on it, to show my girlfriend exactly what I mean, and my girlfriend is from Poland, I looked up the rankings of the safest countries in the world and the most dangerous countries. Now, in America, we rank in the top roughly 30. Poland is about 100 countries lower, ranking in about 130 out of, roughly 200. And so life in Poland for an American is just much safer.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That looks like a little book, but it's a bench. A book bench. That is awesome.
Calmer and less
That's
overwhelming.
creative.
Sometimes you just want to get through your day, get to work, or hang out with your friends, and you won't have to think about your safety all the time. It's a very peaceful feeling at times. Which brings us to the second reason
I get that completely.
Americans love life in Poland, and that is Polish people tend to mind their business. You know this expression, mind your business. It means not be so interested in what strangers are doing all the time. One of the things that still to this day I enjoy about day-to-day life in Poland is the fact that when I walk down the street or when I handle my business at a co-working, people are not always looking at what I'm doing.
I would absolutely love that. That's like gets me anxious when going into stores and having to interact, like we said in a few videos back. Just having to do the small talk and just everybody being so curious of what everybody else is doing. And so this would be perfect for me. Yeah, that would be perfect for me because then I wouldn't get stared at. Which I mean, I don't. I get stared at just as much as everybody else. It's not like I'm walking down the street and everybody's just eyes on Amy.
Or trying to always have eye contact or always engage with me about my day. Now, this extends to somewhat the larger Slavic world, where the stereotype would be that Slavic people or Polish people are cold and unemotional, but I would disagree highly. When you get to know Polish people, they're some of the warmest, most giving people in the world, but a random stranger on the street, their life is their life, and my life is my life. And that is a mentality that I found Polish people really exhibit. And I personally, as an introvert, really like that. And
I absolutely love that too. And, shoot, what was I gonna say?
People really exhibit. And I personally, as an introvert, really like that. And I think most Americans, even though we are known as being friendly, which is a great thing, and outgoing, and many people like that about us, understandably. But on a day-to-day existence, you just kind of want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Third reason Americans love life in Poland is the old country feeling. And when I say the old country, that's an expression that Americans sometimes use to represent their original country of ancestry, the country that their ancestors come from. And many Americans either go back to that country. So, as you can imagine, the United States has a lot of people of European descent.
Wow.
They might go back to the old country, Germany, Italy, France, Spain, during the summers. I'm an American whose family is really descended, going back to even before the founding of the country, in the United States. However, for Americans like myself, the South, the American South, is like the old country. So
that's breathtaking.
Still relate to that feeling while not having a specific European country that I've gone back to as a kid. Poland reminds many Americans of going back to the old country and eating your grandma's homemade food that only she knows how to make, which of course many Poles understand quite overtly, because stereotype is my mom and my grandmother makes the best pierogi, kompot, etc. The old country feeling is something that many Americans can relate to.
Yes. And also, I will have to agree with him when he was talking about how Polish people are like the nicest people. I really enjoy talking to him. I haven't had one bad experience with a person living in Poland, so it's just been good. So
fourth reason Americans love life in Poland is here they work to live, not live to work. Now, when
Amen.
I say work to live and not live to work, in the United States, your career comes first. And we'll cover this in another step as well. Not always, not all Americans, but honestly, most Americans, their job and how significant they feel in their day-to-day work.
And that takes a toll on you and takes a toll on family relationships. And not a lot of people are close to their family. I'm personally not, unfortunately.
And how significant they feel in their day-to-day work is the highest priority for them. And whether
I love how it's not work to live, it's live to work. Wait, work to live, not live to work. That's how Poland is. And that goes so deep because working is such a priority for so many people that it gets placed before children and before a lot of other things that are important key things in our daily lives. And the closeness to family members, kids and their parents.
Or not they would admit it, I think most Americans would trade a high paying, feeling like they're the boss job over having a good life and traveling the world. Americans are not a very relaxed people. And that comes a lot from the way that they prioritize work over life. This is why you might have heard the expression work-life balance. And it's a very big concern for many Americans, while most Americans are frankly not actually pursuing a good work-life balance. Which brings us to reason number 5 Americans love life in Poland, and that is family and friends here are a bigger priority than their career. One way to put this is face-to-face interaction in Poland still has that, let's call it pre-internet energy. My girlfriend, when she hangs out with her friends, she puts her phone in her purse and she pays attention to the friend and has a chat, and there's not a million Instagram lives going on. Or if you're going a little bit older, dinner with a bunch of Americans can often be interrupted by taking a work call, even if it's 8 or 9 p.m. Or holidays in the United States can often be simply sitting in front of the TV after a big meal, and people can't wait to get back to their internet life or their job, despite it being a holiday or
Gosh, I'm so glad that he brought this up.
a vacation. So life in Poland is more of a close-knit, connected way of seeing day-to-day life. And I think a lot of Americans find that refreshing. Speaking of closeness, reason number 6 Americans love life in Poland is the closeness of the cities. It's very easy to get from Wrocław to Poznan. It's under 2 hours. To get from Łódź to Warsaw, Warszawa. To get from Kraków to Zakopane, from Warszawa to Kraków, and so on. The train system, despite many complaints that
It's like 2 hours. That's quite a long drive to go somewhere. I try not going that far out, but yeah, wow.
I'm sure we all have about intercity at times, whether it's being late or whatever. The train system runs to major hubs that you can see quickly over the course of a weekend. And frankly, if somebody was really trying, they could see almost all of the major cities in Poland in a week or 2. Very different than the United States, where from New York to Los Angeles is a 4, 5, 6 hour flight. To drive from New York to Los Angeles would take 2 or 3 days, and that's moving somewhat quick. To drive from New York to Miami would take a day. To drive from Miami to Chicago would take two days.
Yeah, I don't leave my state.
So things are far, and you've got to make a big priority in order to see all of America's cities. And last, I would be remiss without discussing economics. Obviously, the United States, the American US dollar is quote unquote very strong. And the recording of this, obviously, there's a lot of inflation around the world. But we all know that the United States as an economic power has a lot of benefits, and a lot of Americans don't admit that they are very lucky and privileged to have been born in a country with a relative to a lot of other countries, a country with economic stability. And so when Americans come here and they say everything is so cheap, they're often not realizing, well, it's not cheap for Polish folks. And so I'm giving this reason because this is an important thing you'll hear from Americans, or why Americans come here, but also with the understanding that Americans need to recognize how lucky they are to have been born in a country that has such economic might that other places, like the lovely country of Poland, don't have some of those economic benefits.
This is so beautiful. I was wondering if they just had these thingies up here just to get to like one side of a town to the other, but now it's kind of looking like it's an amusement park. So that's why those are there, and this is why this river thing's here. In America, this little river here would be called the Lazy River. That's what we call it. The more you know.
Currently for its citizens, although Poland's life and investments and economic success is growing every year. And it even makes Americans want to stay here more because they begin to see a thriving and growing country. So that is 7 reasons Americans love life in Poland on this walking tour.
That was awesome. I got interrupted like 20 times, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to put this video up. It's going to take quite a bit of editing, but that was an awesome video, and it looks like, yeah, this was done in 2022, so recent, I mean, pretty recent, I'd say. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. The link to his channel will be in the description. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.